I get a lot of liberal, woke, hippie Marxists telling me, Chris, you don't report on enough Irish crime. People in Ireland, people of Irish descent committing crime in Ireland. Well, today I got two of the most horrendous, worst news stories ever here committed by 6 Irish fellas. Okay, now this of course just only happened like 2 days ago. These actually are very recent. This is just within the last 2 or 3 days. So the first news story is 5 men jailed for torture of woman in a Dublin flat. Okay, absolutely crazy. So we have 5 fellas here from left to right. Braxton Rice, Cian Walshy. I'm just joking. My name is Walsh. But anyone that has the E on the end of the name, I think that's like a little bit British or like Welsh or something. So Cian Walsh, Mark Keogh, Mark McMahon, and Sean Conroy. Okay, now it says 5 men who beat, burned, stabbed, and tortured a woman for 3 hours in Dublin flat last year have been jailed for between 8.5 to 14 years. Like, what the hell? First of all, just right off the bat, guys, any sort of torture, stabbing, burning, setting on fire, any sort of crazy crime like that, you should get at least 100 years, in my opinion. There should be a life sentence for that kind of shit, guys. I mean, that's inhumane. I'm sure that the ICJ would say, the International Courts of Justice would also rule that that is horrendous, guys, okay? We're gonna have to take these fellas to The Hague for these kind of crimes, okay? It says Natalie Ennis was abducted and tortured because of a row over missing drugs which she knew nothing about. Okay, so this was a case of innocent person being hurt. So 37-year-old was burned on the face and her legs with a heated hammer head and makeshift blowtorch from a deodorant can as she and her daughter were threatened with sexual assault. Okay, this is the worst of the worst of Ireland, guys. And we talk about stabbings in the street, your man's the Gardaí getting stabbed yesterday and that kind of stuff. Horrendous crime. We have people coming in from the EU, human trafficking, horrendous crime. They're like importing crime. But we also have the worst crimes ever committed from our own people as well, guys. So, and this is the reason for making this video, because people get upset on the right when I start talking about homegrown crime, like Irish people committing crime. The Irish government have also failed in protecting our own people from each other, guys. Forget about outsiders committing crime, coming in, Roma gypsies, Bulgarian, that kind of thing, attacking our people. The police don't protect us from our own people. Like, how do you expect them to protect us from the world of people? It's not going to happen. Now, for those who don't know, this lady, Natalie Ennis, was basically accused of stealing 80,000 euro worth of drugs, of cocaine, 90,000 euro worth of cocaine that had gone missing from the house that she was staying in. Okay, and then the Gardaí broke in as the kind of torture fest was going on, and they basically threatened to kill her, all this kind of thing, and she survived. Okay, so great job to her. Now, of course, guys, if you don't want to be involved in any of these situations, don't be around drugs, don't be involved with drug crime, gang crime. It's not a good way to live. Okay, this is gang crime. And let's get cancelled here. Okay, I wasn't going to talk about this, but let's get cancelled today. When we talk about different ethnic groups, guys, certain things come to mind. Okay, certain crimes come to mind. And although you can't pinpoint one person about who commits crime, which ethnicity group commits what crime, but when it comes to ethnicity, we kind of like label people with different sort of, crimes. Okay, this guy is white, so he's a pedophile. Or this guy's white, he does like, white collar crime on Wall Street and like financial crime. Okay, this guy is maybe of Semitic descent, he does like fraud. Okay, or if this guy is a black guy, he's in a gang. Or if this guy's a Middle Eastern guy, he's like a flippin', ISIS or terrorist or something. So people attribute different crimes to different ethnic groups. And although that's not correct, I don't personally agree with all that. There's a stereotype for a reason, guys. So obviously a lot of white people are in gangs in Ireland, in the UK as well. So, it's pretty horrendous, guys. But I just wanted to say that because a lot of people kind of were saying to me, Chris, you never talk about, ethnicity and this kind of thing. There are clear, obvious differences between ethnic groups and what crime people commit. But not always. You can't just stereotype this person's, a white guy, so he's going to commit, fraud on the stock exchange. Like, it doesn't work like that, lads. You know what I mean? Or this guy's going to commit financial crime because he's a white guy up in Dublin. It doesn't exactly work like that. But I mean, hopefully that doesn't upset a lot of people. I think people understand what I mean when I talk about ethnic groups and this kind of thing. That's where people's prejudice is. There's a prejudice, and it's not a racist thing, but it is a prejudice, like, between, different groups. Like, when I think of, like, black gangs in America, it's like King Von and, like, these rappers and stuff, like, shooting each other and stuff. So there is that sort of stereotype as well, between Middle Eastern, this kind of thing. And then Asian, you think of, like, the Yakuza. Like, in Japan, you think of, like, the Mafia, Yakuza. So, when I think of white people in Dublin, a lot of the times I think of this kind of crime, gang crime. They chopped up some kid, 13 to 19-year-olds, 13 to 21-year-olds, like, beating people up and this kind of thing. Like, it's just horrendous, guys. The gang crime in Dublin is just out of control. And my point is, the Gardaí are not cracking down on this. There is no sort of repercussions for this whatsoever. They only got in total for this, guys, they got 14 years and something like that. 14 years for torturing someone and threatening to kill them and et cetera, et cetera. They should at least get minimum 40 years, and then we'll be somewhere close to the number, Like, it's just absurd. So, the next story we have here is, I mean, this is even worse. And I had to do a full video on it because somebody actually emailed me and said, Chris, could you please make a full video on this? And it could have been someone actually close to the person involved in this, and they want to highlight it more. But I said I'd highlight it more. This is one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. So it says, former Gardaí who impersonated colleague and incited men to come to her house and sexually assault her is jailed. So Shane Flanagan, okay, Irish fella, supposedly, he looks kind of like Ukrainian or something. He doesn't look particularly Irish, but a lot of people shouted at me for that one. They said, this guy looks Irish. I'm like, I don't know. He could be from anywhere. Celtic, Norman. He could be flipping from God knows where, okay? But, I think he's homegrown here. Impersonated a woman on a fetish website and on Facebook, engaging in graphic discussions and providing address and photos. So this guy is a Gardaí, man. A Gardaí, man. Impersonated his colleague and was jailed for 7 years because he incited men to come to her home and attack her. So this guy, Shane Flanagan, with an address in County Clare, which, by the way, I've seen this guard before around where I live. I think he was doing patrols before, like, years ago, and I definitely got stopped by him. I think I got stopped, and, like, he gave me, like, he, like, was telling me I had to change my tires and that kind of thing. I think so, guys. Now, it says here, he was engaged with people on this fetish website and Facebook, graphic discussions with other users about sexual and physical violence and cannibalism and torture. Like, cannibalism. I mean, like we talk about, like I said, foreign, gypsies and this kind of thing. Dude, we have nutcases here. Is anybody ever going to crack down on our homegrown crime? Cannibalism. Pretty horrendous, guys. Pretty horrendous. It says he also shared the woman's address, photos of her daughters, and screenshots from the Strava app and showed her running route. So he wanted to maybe murder her on her running route, like Aisling Murphy. So, guys, there's the same sort of similarity. I mean, nutcases are everywhere. Like, we have sick, twisted individuals in this country as well. A lot of people are like, Chris, you're prejudiced towards other people. I just want all crime eradicated, guys. I don't want any crime here. I want the punishment to be so harsh that there's no crime in this country. He also admitted to 1 count of possession of 4 images of child sexual abuse material on January 7th. I mean, absolutely horrendous. So this guy was also a pedophile as well. I mean, these are the kind of people that are hiring for the Gardaí as well. I mean, the Gardaí should be doing more of a background check, more of a psychological evaluation of people. Truly, guys, unbelievable. The judge said offending was an egregious breach of trust which betrayed their friendship and placed the woman and her daughters in physical danger. Thankfully, no acts of violence took place. Oh, so the woman actually wasn't... Oh, that makes me feel a lot better. That makes me feel a lot better. So the woman actually wasn't... The woman actually wasn't hurt. Was it? Thankfully, no acts of violence took place. Or was she hurt? In evidence, Detective Guardian Paul English told Laura SC prosecutor that the woman and Flanagan were friends but no romantic or sexual history. Okay, so the court heard the woman became aware someone was using her image on FetLife website after a user contacted her via Facebook in 2020. So people take your image and pretend to be you. Now, luckily, County Gains, okay? I've never had that happen to me, guys. What am I? Not good looking enough? You guys don't want to impersonate me? I'm joking. But people take your character, your image, and then they steal it and they use it on like flipping Tinder, Hinge, okay? And then they use it, you know, to kind of like basically throw dirt on your name, which I'm way past that. I don't even care. Like, if people want to shit on me, like I don't, there's no words or anything you could do really that will ever affect me mentally. So you do you, guys. Okay. So all that aside, it says, if you gave me a list of 500 names that people could have done this, I would have never have guessed it was him. So it's crazy. The Detective Guardian English said that the woman was extremely shocked to find out that Flanagan was impersonating her online. Okay, Detective Guardian English told the courts hundreds of images of the woman, including 219 decorated ones, were found as part of the search. 4 images of child sexual abuse were also found on his laptop. So the Gardaí obviously came to his house, took his laptop, and then searched it, of course, and then they found all this crazy shit on it. I mean, that's insane, guys. Like, what in the world? I mean, this is disgusting. Flanagan incited them to break into the woman's house and sexually assault her. Both genuinely believed they were talking to a woman who had a fetish for consensual non-consent, which involves one party agreeing for another party to carry out a sexual assault at a set location. So this is like a fetish thing. So one party agrees to attack the woman at a set location. So this is all like predetermined and supposed to be, you know, quote unquote consensual. Absolutely insane. One of the men living in the UK told Gardaí this person must really hate the victim to go to these lengths. Okay, now the conversations included torture, sexual violence, and cannibalism. Again, cannibalism is just, I mean, this guy is obviously, I mean, he's on drugs, guys. A lot of these people take a lot of cocaine, marijuana. This stuff warps your mental. I've never done any drugs, thank God. Okay, bless the God, I've never been tempted to take any drugs or drink excessively too often. But this stuff warps your mental capacity, guys. Okay? Now it says, she said no sentence can undo the harm caused to her by calculated predatory act of violence that have left lifelong scars. Okay, so actually she actually was abused. Okay? And she had been an inpatient at a psychiatric hospital. So she obviously had been distressed and horrendous, guys, horrendous. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. Incited men to come to her home and attack her. It says there that no acts of violence took place, but, you know, I think, you know, whatever happened, even if he was attacked, 8 years is not enough, guys. I mean, they should do 50 years, and then we'll get somewhere close to the number. In closing, because I don't want to make this video too goddamn long, I think that the punishments of crime are not long enough in this country, guys. Nowhere near long enough. They should absolutely, you know, ramp up the crime. Like, if you do some crazy shit like this, you should go to jail for 50 years, 100 years, you know, anywhere where it's inciting violence, okay? When we talk about economic crime, you know, houses and this kind of migrant stuff, it should be also pretty harsh as well, of course. But something violent crime should be the worst and harshest of sentences. No questions, okay? Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. If you want to support me, push back into mainstream media, because of course I said a pretty controversial stuff there, right? So hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I might make a video clarifying the ethnic kind of stuff again. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today for €3 per month. We have 15 members now. We're growing. County Gains gang, we're growing every day. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.